So last week we talked about, the book, It's Your Fault, You're Single. That's really what we focused on. But I had a look at your Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men, right?
Right.
And interesting little book. Now, those people who haven't read it yet, go check out this book. It's mainly written for men, and of course it has to be for men, because I think the first chapter you talk about, chapter 1, where have I gone? Chapter 1, date a lot of women at one time. Are you really suggesting to men that they should date lots of women all at the same time? I think there's some women out there that are just going to sit and go, oh my God, if this is what men are thinking and this is what men are doing and think is a great thing, I am never going out there to date ever again, okay?
No, men are supposed to do that.
I totally get it if they are. What do you mean men are supposed to do that? Like,
yeah, we're supposed to. We're supposed to.
Men.
Because the thing is, you got to understand for a guy, guys, when we're out there dating, we need to get experience, being with women. And a guy's not going to get enough experience unless he's interacting with multiple women. And the only way that's going to happen is if he dates a lot of women to figure out what he likes and what he wants in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So it works on a whole bunch of different levels. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, if a guy's just, focusing just on one woman, what happens is that he turns that woman into his whole dating life. So if something doesn't work out with her, then he might look at it as like, oh, she flaked on me and girls are flaky and girls do this and girls do that. And he's generalizing all girls with this one girl. But if he's dating 3 or 4 or 5 girls at the same time, if 2 girls are flaky but 3 are not, he's going to be like, okay, well, these are just how these girls are and these other girls showed up and, so it gives them a different perspective. But a lot of guys don't get that perspective if they're only dating one woman. And a lot of guys tend to do that because they don't really have the skills to, actually, approach a number of different women and, date a lot of girls. So that's why it's important that they do that. Okay.
Well, yeah, I've got some comments in the chat room. I'm going to ignore the one by living the Divalicious life. I don't know who she's referring to. Okay. Michelle's saying, would we suggest the same for a woman? And then
yes.
Living the Divalicious life saying, I knew that we aren't for double standards. Alive and well. Are we supposed to? Is it okay for women to do the same?
Yes, women should also date a lot of men. It's supposed to be because this is what you got to understand. Yes, at the same time, men and women. Because the thing that people don't realize is this: is that when you're dating, you're learning about yourself through the interactions you have with other people. You understand what I'm saying? So if I date, one girl, and then I date another girl, I'm dating 3 girls, and then I see how I interact with these different types of girls, and then I figure out what, types of people I, have a connection with. So let's say if one of the girls, she's a more, she has a sense of humor, she's more laid back, but another girl is kind of shy and stiff, and then I see how I feel, between myself and these different types of women. So I learn about myself through these girls in relationships. So later down the line, let's say if I want to actually get married, I can say, I notice that when I date around, I like girls who are a little bit more laid back. I like girls who are a little bit more this and that. So then when I choose someone to be my wife, if I do choose to have a wife, then I choose better because I know myself better. But the only way I'm going to know myself better is through these interactions. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for men and women to date around. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. But I don't know if people agree with you. I think some of the comments don't suggest that they do. So you're going to have to really convince people to believe that what you're saying is right. So let me tell you what I get. Mr. ABC saying, Mr. Player, everybody should date a lot of people. And he says, Disease City, okay, and Living the Delicious Life agreeing, ABC, yep, and ABC saying AIDS, gonorrhea, crabs will be rampant.
You said crabs?
So everyone is just, crabs will be, crabs will be rampant. So
you talking about STDs?
Yeah, I think so. Michelle is saying.
I'm not. No, I'm not talking. No. See, that's the thing. I'm not talking about having. Go ahead.
Let's finish what the comments are. I can see what he's saying. I think it's important to experience different people, but not necessarily sleep with many people. I think, yeah, okay. And living through delicious life, saying our parents doing it. Oh, our parents didn't do it, I think she means, and they lasted years. My folks 47 and Grand 64. And ABC saying, didn't this guy say he's in an open marriage? And someone saying, yes, he is, and years. So you're going to need to explain more. Come on. What do you mean by what you said? Because people already, really, no, that's not possible.
They said it's not possible to date around? Is that what they're saying?
It's not good to do it. It's not possible that it's not good. I think that's what they're saying.
No, all right. Let me explain. Let me try to explain it in a different. Okay, like let's take for example, right? You know what? Okay, you know when someone says, I don't know something, like if you asked me, where is Main Street in this city, and then I'm not from there, I might say I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because I've never been to this city. I don't know the city, so I don't know myself in this situation to tell you where Main Street is. So the same thing happens in relationships, is that the reason why relationships don't work out is because people don't really know themselves well. And the reason why they don't know themselves well is because they don't explore having interactions. So if they're not exploring dating this person, that person, they don't understand how they're going to be in interactions with the opposite sex or whatever. So a lot of times when you actually get to meet a person, or you meet a person you think you might like or might work out with, it doesn't really work out a lot of times because either you or the person you're talking to doesn't know themselves well enough to figure out what they really, really want. And the only way you do that is through experience. You see what I'm saying? And this is why I'm saying that it's important for men and women to date around. And also, real quick, because I wanted to talk about this too, because I actually listened back to the last broadcast we did after I got off, and I think it was those two guys that were talking about open relationships. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they were saying that, open relationships are just about, sex, you know what I mean? And the thing I just want to clear up for people that don't understand open relationships real quick is that open relationships can be about sex, but it's not just about sex because you have different types or different forms of open relationships. So sometimes you have open relationships where it's a relationship between 3 or more partners where sex is not happening between all the partners, but they're in a relationship together. So you might have like a guy and a girl and another girl, and the two girls might be sexual with each other, but the guy might only be sexual with one of the girls. You see what I'm saying? So it's not always just about sex, but they're all in a relationship. Or you have a hybrid open relationship, which means one partner is non-monogamous and the other partner is monogamous. So that's like, say, for example, if me and you were in a relationship and I would be monogamous to you, but you would be free to go and see other guys. That's a hybrid open relationship. So that means I'm not even having sex with anybody, but you. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just about, the sex when it comes to an open relationship. Sex is a part of certain open relationships, but it's not just that. And the thing is, I want to clear that up for people because people, when they think about open relationships, what they do is they compare it to monogamy. So the monogamy is the only thing that they have to compare it to. So when you're comparing it to monogamy, when people are in monogamous relationships, all they think about is, damn, I don't want this person to cheat on me, or if they did this, this would make our monogamy not be monogamy, which is sex. So that's why they automatically think an open relationship is just about sex. But open relationship is actually open, and like I said last week, it depends specifically on those two or three, whoever is in that couple, to be in that relationship to define what type of open relationship they have. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Yeah. It's just that people are conditioned with the monogamy mindset, so it's hard for them to understand an open relationship. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
Okay. Oh, right. Long explanation. I hope the guys agree with you. Let me see. I've got ABC online, so let me bring him in. I'm sure he's gasping to say something about your book and the comment that you made, but let's hear from him. Hi, ABC. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ebony, and hello to the guests.
What's going on?
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. How was your April Fool's Day?
Experienced a couple of those weird things. I'm not too big into it, but I got caught a couple of times.
Okay. Well, you're not on my Facebook, so you didn't get the Facebook one.
Oh, actually, I thought I would. I have to make sure that I get on there.
Yeah, you need to. I've got a group called Global Village Dating. So if anybody's not joined that group yet, it's still there. We're trying to build the group. So yeah, maybe that's a nice place to start as well if you're not just a friend of mine to also look to the group.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, but good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a little while, so good to have you on.
Yeah, I'm working these kind of crazy hours here, so I've been off the grid for a little while or something. But interesting guest, and I wanted to comment on a couple things. First, it sounds like from his explanation, and I heard some of last week's show. You know, it may be the messenger as far as talks a lot about stuff, and it comes off as if, you know, he's having sex with all these girls and stuff. Look, I'm a guy, and I was at the time, and I was trying to, but the general idea about dating around before, you know, you settle down and get married and all that kind of stuff, absolutely. You know, I mean, I think everybody should, you know, you should have a good idea of and experience relationships as far as, you know, if you're a girl, you go out with this guy and, you know, he's a nice guy, he excites you one way or another. Maybe he's not quite what you want. There's another guy who's exciting and fun and stuff, but you can see he's not really stable. You know, you learn about people and experience different stuff like that. However, I think that's kind of it is a thing of age and maturity. You know, at some point after you've dated a number of people, you should have a decent idea of what it is that you want and what you're looking for.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Who's complementing your personality, your characteristics, and all that stuff. Then becomes a point as to, you know, whether you settle down and become monogamous or not. And I'm not really, you know, harping on the, hey, you know, everybody's got to be monogamous and you got to be married. I'm not saying it necessarily, but I think to advocate like open relationships and this idea that, you know, everybody should be free to just get with whoever, whenever, and this kind of thing. But what it does is it brings on the de-evolution of the family structure. And I think the family structure is important in society. You know, it's been torn apart already, and what sounds like is being advocated is going to further destroy that. And then you think about kids growing up in this environment where, you know, there's no daddy or culture at home. You know, mama's got 3 boyfriends or something. Total chaos is what it sounds like to me. So I wonder what the guest has to say about that.
Well, the thing is this. Well, let me answer that real quick. So the thing is, I'm not advocating for anybody to do anything. I say do what feels right for you, and this is why I say you have to experience and explore, because you got to figure out what's right for you. So some people might like monogamy, some people might like open relationships. So whatever it is, it's, you know, your decision, but you got to really figure out what you want and know that you like that and do that. Second thing I want to talk about as far as a family unit, I would say Google JujuMama.com. So Juju Mama is a company, and it's run by my friends Kenya K. Stevens and her husband. They're in an open marriage. They've been in an open marriage for almost 19, I think 20 years now. They have 3 children, and their relationship is just awesome. You know what I'm saying? The kids are healthy. The kids love it. Everything is cool. So the thing is that, you know, depending on what you want, you can make things work but you have to be comfortable enough within yourself to, do that and make it work. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily, and again, this is what I was saying where, if you don't really understand the concept of, certain different types of relationships, that's cool too, but it's like, most people are used to the monogamous paradigm, and I'm not saying that anything's wrong with that. I think if monogamy works for you, that's great, and do that. But also you got to understand that there are different types of people and there are different types of relationships, and this is exactly why I'm saying, going back to why you need to date around, because you yourself have to figure out what is it you want, because what's going to happen is that if not only if you don't know, but others around you don't know, you're going to end up getting with somebody, you're going to end up, really feeling them, liking them, and then this person is going to be like, damn, why is it that I feel like I want a different relationship than this other person? And this is why it doesn't work out, because both parties, either one or both parties don't know what they want. You see what I'm saying? And this is why you have to go out and explore. You see what I mean?
So here's a question then. So at what age, and of course nobody's talking about there's going to be an exact age. We all mature differently. But at what point, what age, around what age would you say that, okay, you had enough dates, you've experienced life enough,
right?
You should be able to kind of focus in and zero in on, specific person or specific type of person. I mean, is there in your belief system, is there a time where you start to narrow and zero in and focus in on, someone, a particular person, a particular type of person?
Right. No, I see what you're saying, because basically, it's, I think it's best for, men and women to start out young when they're 18, 19, 20, to start exploring. So by the time you're in your 30s, mid-30s, that's when you are at a point where you might say, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. This, as far as my dating life or, relationships, this is what I want. Because, as you get older, you get more, you have more responsibilities. Your body's not the same as it used to be. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing. So I totally see what you're saying, and I think that it's best when people are younger to explore those things. But the thing is that we in this society we make it seem as if it's something wrong with exploring that type of stuff. Like the other day they had this news story about this guy who shot his daughter's boyfriend because he caught him in the house with his daughter.
Yeah.
Then they had another one with a guy who beat up his stepdaughter's boyfriend because they were in the shower together. And instead of just talking to your kids and talking to your young ones about these things, this is what's the type of craziness that happens because we don't actually explore these things. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's important for that to happen,
But I think that if people kind of had more of your mindset, what those fathers would have done is they would have left them alone, and then, after the guy left home and finished his business, then the father would have maybe sat with his daughter and said, hey, it's fine that you're doing what you're doing, but I prefer that you, do that outside the house. I'm not comfortable. And all this stuff. It sounds like in your world of an open relationship, that's how it would be done. Now, it would never be done like that in my house. I'd beat the hell out of that guy and beat her. But it's this difference of idea about families and that kind of thing. Ultimately, it ends up there. And, like where you're saying that you're married but you're in an open relationship, which, to each his own and this kind of thing. But I was reading something not too long ago where there was a discussion about can you be married and it's like that's an oxymoron. I heard the discussion last week, and I understand the explanation. It's about you as a couple, how you guys decide to define it, and that's all fine. But I think for purposes of the discussion, we kind of are talking more in generality. If everybody had the kind of opinion that you had, then what would society look like? What would the world look like? If everybody had the opinion that this Juju Mama group has a couple, what would society look like? What would the culture look like? And I'm not talking from any religious point at all. I'm not religious, but just as the idea of a society and a functional society with healthy families, healthy kids raised up I think we're talking about chaos if everybody was to have your viewpoint in it.
No, that's the thing. I don't think it would be chaos, because the thing is, for what I preach and what I talk about figuring out what is your truth and accept others for what they like and what they want. And this is the reason. See, the reason why there's chaos. So, for example, the reason why that guy shot his daughter's, and is because we don't have discussions with each other. We don't actually people for where they're at and what they are. Instead, we hide it, we suppress it, we don't talk about it. We go along with what society says that we're supposed to do instead of asking ourselves what we want and what we enjoy. So So the reason why we have so much chaos now is mainly because of that. You see what I'm saying? And it's like this. I always say, if you had, this is what most people do in society. You have a kid running around a pool, right? A young kid running around the pool, and all the parent is saying, Johnny, stop running around the pool, stop running around the pool. What the hell's wrong with you? Stop running around the pool. So they're yelling at him, telling him to stop running around the pool. Johnny's not going to stop running around the pool. What you need to do as a parent is teach him how to swim just in case he falls in. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the problem we have in society, is that we're ignoring the realities of the situation, that your daughter is going to want to have her boyfriend over. Your son's going to do this. So instead of trying to choke them out and stop them, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation with them and say, okay, listen, I understand you want to do this. We might not be able to do this here, but you could probably do this here. Let me teach you how to do these things so you don't get pregnant, so you don't get STDs. So we have to have these discussions instead of hiding it. And you know what I'm saying, and leaving it to and that's where the chaos happens, because nobody understands what they're doing. You see what I mean?
Well, just to use your example real quick.
Before you go on, guys. Before you go on, hold on. Yeah. Before you go on, guys, I just wanna acknowledge Mr. Talk and DH20 who's joined us in Desk 2012. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me. Joining us.
And I'm on the line. I'll wait my turn, Ebony. I started everything last week, and I would like to address it on it.
I know.
But I will wait. How you doing, ABC? I'm quiet.
What's going on, man?
I don't know why you're looking over me, guys. I'm trying to finish what I'm saying. I'm just trying to say that, since the beginning of the show, we've been talking with Mr. Locario about his book, and in particular, this week we're talking about the 10 magnificent dating tips for men. And one of the points that we have been discussing, if you've only just joined us, is about this whole thing about men having, and women, Mr. Locario says, dating, more than one person at the same time. Now, I'm quite aware that happens, but that doesn't sit well with a lot of people out there, for different reasons. Health reasons has been the big reason. And also, ABC is saying, the whole dismantlement of the family and, and how we see ourselves and how we relate could also be in jeopardy as a result of that kind of behavior. I know that in your book you've got this paragraph. Let me just get this so that we stay in context, which says one of the immediate benefits of dating multiple women is that it will give you a more active sex life. On any given night, you will have more than one option of who to go to bed with. You will be getting more sex because you'll have a number of girls to choose from. If one girl that you're dating is being flaky, just call someone else. You're more likely to get sex this way than a guy who's only seen one woman. For more on how to date many women, check out the other book, which is How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. Now, is that consistent with what you've been saying, or is that slightly different?
No, that's exactly what I've been saying. This is the same thing. Even when you talk about just sexuality and being sexual, because the thing is, a lot of men don't. This is what a lot of men do. They take what they can get. But most guys do that because most guys don't have the skills or the know-how to get what they want in the dating game. You understand? And this is why I write these books and stuff like that. So what happens is that a lot of guys, they don't have any, sexual experience. So when it even comes to, having sex with a woman and pleasing a woman, they don't even know how to do that because they have no experience. I actually have a friend, his name is Steve Dean Williams, and he has a website called The School of Dating, and he has products specifically. It's called the School of Dating, and he has products specifically teaching guys how to have sex. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain guys that don't really know how to do this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So there's a need for it out there because guys aren't really going out there and making it happen. So when I'm teaching guys, like, you know, date around, date a lot of women, have more experiences, you can have these sexual experience, and then you learn more about yourself through those things. But again, when we, you know, every time we talk about this, people start to get on the negative side and think about STDs and all these and babies and all this other stuff, which can happen. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do right, this is why the book I have is called How to Have Sex with Two Women a Day, not just have sex with two women a day, because I'm teaching you how to do it without messing things up. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people go straight to the STDs and the unwanted pregnancies and all these other things. And most people catch STDs and have unwanted pregnancies because of ignorance, because they don't really know what they're doing. A lot of times people get pregnant because they're having unprotected sex. People are catching STDs because they're having unprotected sex. They don't understand about STDs. They don't understand how you can catch these things. So a lot of it is more ignorance versus the actual act of doing this thing. You see what I'm saying? Because I've had sex with almost, I think I stopped counting at like 115, it's probably like 120 or something like that, 120 women, never had an STD, never got any of these women pregnant. You know, I've been with my girl for the past 7 years, never got her pregnant. We never got any STDs, you know what I'm saying? And I actually have clients who've had more sex than me with no STDs, no baby mamas. The reason why there's so many of these things happening is because a lot of times people are doing it wrong, and they're not going to tell you that, but that's what's really happening. They're having this unprotected sex. They're doing it. They're, you know, ejaculating in the girls and all this other craziness, and then they have babies out of wedlock and all this other stuff. It's not necessarily just because of the sexual acts. You see what I'm saying?
I think kind of where you lost me in that conversation is, you know, when you start talking about having multiple relationships, because what is the purpose? When you're saying, you know, I know Steve is doing very well, okay? So when you're talking about, you know, encouraging men to have more sex, who are they having more sex with? They're having more sex with women and moving on, okay? So I'm having sex with you. If I don't have sex with you, you don't say yes, and I have sex with the next person, right?
Yeah, of course.
And
so
you're not really trying to get to know people, to, you know, build a relationship, to try and understand one woman, and then maybe if that doesn't work, you end that, move on to the next person. No, what you're doing is you're starting several relationships or
no, that's not it.
They're not even relationships; they're interactions. You're getting your leg over. If you don't get your leg over from me tonight, i.e. you make the call, and I say no, then you call Jane. If Jane says no, you go to Mary. Okay? And
of course. Of course, that's what you have to do.
Getting your sex. Okay. Is that really dating, or is that just you trying to have sex?
This is the thing. This is what I'm trying to explain. There are going to be some. Oh, wait.
Someone.
I'm trying to explain it to you. Listen.
Let me finish, and I'll let you come in.
Okay, go ahead.
Where's the getting to know, right? Where is the trying to have some level of understanding? Where's any form of commitment or real understanding between these people? Because if you're doing that, and I don't even know, because I'm sure these women don't know in a lot of cases, that this guy, when you say no, or when it's not happening tonight, you know, you can be just having a period as a woman, okay? Then he's gone to the next person. And, you know, and so there's no commitment to what we have. It's just less a numbers game. You say no, I go on. Like, what kind of world is that? What the hell is that? I don't get that.
All right, I'm going to answer your question. Here we go. All right, I'm going to answer it, but I have to ask you questions while I'm answering it. So has every man you've ever dated, you wanted him to be your husband? Every guy you ever went on a date with?
No, I didn't want him to be my husband, but I wanted him to have an interaction. Hold on, I'm going to finish.
Hold on, wait, hold on.
An interaction. I'm saying I had to clarify, okay? I didn't want him to be my husband. But just because he isn't my husband doesn't mean that he can't be committed to the interaction that we have at that particular time, right? Doesn't mean that he can't just be within that process trying to get to know me for that period of time, and when that's up, If it doesn't work or whatever, we agree that it's over and he moves on. Why does it have to
exactly?
Be that
that's exactly. No, you're saying exactly what I'm talking about. You're saying exactly what I'm talking about. When I tell guys to date a lot of women and have sex with a lot of women, if a guy meets a girl and they go out, they have fun, they enjoy each other's company, and they're having sex, there's no law that says they can't continue to see each other, enjoy each other's company, and have sex. The thing I'm telling guys to do is that be honest with these women and say, hey, listen, I'm dating around. You don't have to lie to these girls, tell them, hey, you're my only one, and I'm not seeing anybody, and you're going behind their back doing all this other stuff. No, you let them know that this is where you're at, because a lot of times guys go through a stage, and they call this the player stage, where guys want to go around and have sex and have fun with lots of different women. So what I'm saying is that it's not that, as soon as I have sex with you, I can't never call you again. If that's his prerogative, if he feels that way about that woman, then that's what it might be. But at the same time, he can meet a woman who he has a lot of, he's talking to her, getting to know her, dating her, having sex with her, and he can see her for like 6 months to a year while he's still seeing other women. You see what I'm saying? It's not, and the reason why I was asking you is because I know there's guys that probably approached you that you were not really into. You probably had a 5-minute conversation. Then there's guys that approached you that you were into. You had an hour conversation and y'all went out for coffee. So my point with saying that is those two guys are different. You spent different time with them, but the time you spent with them was natural to how you felt about them and the interactions you had with them. So it's the same thing with guys when they're dealing with these girls and they're going out with girls. Depending on the feeling and the interaction they having with each specific woman will dictate how long they're going to, talk to them, how much time they're going to spend with them. No one's obligated to spend time with you. And again, this goes back to why I say you need to date around, because every person you meet, you're not going to be feeling. Every person that meets you is not going to be feeling you. So you're constantly on this journey of figuring out what you want and also, interacting with these people. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying just like it's a law that you have to.
I have a comment. I would like to have a comment.
Mike has a comment. Mike, I'm going to let you have a comment. I just want to get some of the comments from the chat room. Give me 2 seconds, because it's just in relation to what's just been said, right? I think ABC started off by saying, it's not cool to be talking about the number of women you've been having sex with. I would think that any woman who hears a guy say that he's been with 100 women would run, and you're so right. I don't know about women today, but maybe some women may go like a high five on that. I'll have some. But I think most women would run. I certainly would. You said most women would run? I might not be all the women. That's what I said. I can't talk for the other women out there.
Trust me, they won't.
If they did a runner, I would understand. Okay. But Deep H2O is saying, not today's women, ABC. Yeah, I know. Some of us are out of it, which is why I said in my write-up, maybe some of us don't understand the world of dating right now and how women relate in the dating world. So we're learning. Okay. I don't know. Emotionally stunted are. That's what Living the Devilicious Life is saying. Sad but true. Michelle said it would be a red flag, ABC. And it's not very attractive, actually. And ABC would say you think. Love and Light saying not attractive. ABC, he's fast talking his way out of the trap he made for himself. Living the Devilicious Life. Deep, I hear that. And Michelle, 90 seconds, Mike. and Love and Light saying just behind you, love. Okay. So come on, Mike, if we want to hear from you. Hi, it's Angel M. Welcome to the show. Okay. So what did you want to say? Mike? Because I know you've got a comment.
Right.
Mike?
And everyone wants me to be... Yes, and everyone wants me to be fed. Yes, I'm here.
I think maybe because sometimes you're a little bit long, Mike, so you're just hoping that you wouldn't be too long tonight.
No.
Other people may want to comment.
Right, exactly.
So please comment.
But I guarantee if everyone do a science instrument, if you compare my time to other people's time, it's shorter. But I try to, they don't like what I say. But real quick, let me be short. I have a lot to say, and I'll make it short. Listen. I understand what the gentleman is trying to come, and I agree with him. I personally don't believe in the traditional structure. I get that. I'm with you. traditional structure, I challenge some of the concepts. But what you're doing is too not reasonable. Because I agree with you, sir. A male or female needs to know where they are in their lives, and we need to be honest. I agree. But the reason why we brought up this topic is we were talking about all of your book, and I asked the question how some people say they don't want traditional marriage, but they want someone to be totally committed to them, but they don't want to live in the same house, and this how this topic was brought up. I want to bring some. There's a difference between swinging and open marriage. Swinging is when you can see your husband or your wife actually having sex with the person right in front of your face. Open marriage, which I've talked about, and I've talked to a woman who it has the same concept that you have. So he's not the only people with a concept that he has. There's some women who has a concept just like this gentleman has. He said her and her husband has a contract. They cannot meet the person that they're swinging with. If the other person tries to get involved or they meet the other person, they have to end the relationship. They have a contract with this. Right, all of this swinging type of atmosphere of having sex, but when you have an open marriage, open marriage and not swinging, but when you have an open marriage, it comes down. The core of it is sex. Saying that my partner may have a good buddy that she may go bowling with, or he may have someone that he can play cards with, or someone he can talk to and get some inspiration from, that's different. That's a friend. That can be a coworker or a cousin. That can be anybody. The sex. But an open relationship is that you're able to have sex with somebody and your partner knows that you're having sex, but they may not know that person. That's different. They may not know that person. That causes a lot of conflict. Now, on the man's side, you made statements about yourself. Me personally, as an individual, not a man, I don't want to be with nobody for 7 years, and a woman for 7 years, and she slept with 100 and some other men, because the open relationship has to go on both sides. And I have no problem with polygamy. If you're going to be trustworthy, if you're going to be open and honest, I understand what you're saying, sir. But when you have people in secret on the side, and you may have the streak of a lifetime that you don't get no one pregnant because of a condom and things, but if you apply your formula everyone in the world, and you say it's not for everyone, but if you apply this formula, there's going to be a lot of pregnancy people on the side because people are not open and honest with people.
You're chopping up, Mike. Mike, you kind of chopping up. Mike?
Your phone's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, it is breaking up. So we can't hear you clearly. I don't know if you're Skyping in but you may want to call directly in because we can't hear you very well. Hello? All right, okay.
I think Can I respond to that?
Take some of the points. Yeah, please.
Right.
Well, Mike, I'm going to just ask Mike to call back in because his phone is really no good right now. Go on.
Right. So basically, because what he's saying is, because he's saying he doesn't like he also doesn't like the traditional stuff. I'm not saying I like everything. I'm always telling people to do what's best for them. Like, for example, I have clients who are in monogamous relationships. I don't try to tell them, hey, you shouldn't do monogamy, you should do this. No, do what works for you. That's all I'm saying. Now, when it comes to open relationships, what he is saying is he's saying that he's looking at it as, and he could correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard him say, and also last week, was that open relationships are just solely, or open marriages are just solely about somebody having sex with somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? Which is false. Open marriages, open relationships, they can include sex, but like I was saying earlier in the broadcast, was that there are different types of open relationships. So, for example, like I said before, you have multi-partner relationships where there are 3 or more people where sex does not occur between all partners. Does not. No sex. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to explain, but it's like, when people they're trying to lump it into this small category. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. The reason why, and I remember last week, I think I was listening back to the podcast, and he was saying that he's about definitions, and the thing with open relationships is that the definition of open relationship is mainly, there's so many things that go under that, so you can't just, I would be here for like probably half an hour explaining this stuff, you know what I'm saying, just off the definition of what open relationships are across the board, and it's not just sex. It's like you can't really technically simplify it in that way. See, monogamy is a little bit easier to do because monogamy within itself, even the word monogamy meaning mono meaning one and gamos meaning union, one union, that's the union between these two people, and that's it. And then if you go out that, then it's, you get divorced or whatever it is that you want to do, and that's it. So it's kind of cut and dry. But the thing with open relationships is there's so many different variations of what that relationship means to the particular people that you cannot have a specific definition that covers everybody. And just to say that, it's just about sex, it doesn't work that way, because there's so many different facets of what an open relationship can be and is that you just can't do that. That's what I'm trying to explain to him. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, well, we've got like about an hour of the show left, and I don't want us to get stuck on one point, because I know that your book covers more than, one aspect of relationships, and even more than one aspect of sex and what's going on with men and dating. I've got someone else who wants to come in, but I'm just going to hold that person and move to chapter 2 of your book. And we're talking about the book, The 10 Magnificent Dating Tips for Men, okay? So tip number 1 was to have more sex. Go out and have sex with more than one woman, so that you have plenty of sex. And just to tell you that there's some people in the chat room who weren't very, supportive of you mentioning Steve the Dean and his and his stuff, because a lot of people don't really rate it and feel that it berates women, and that some of the men who take part in that world are not very nice in their conversation to women or respectful to women. So that's what I'm hearing from the comments in the chat room. So we'll pass on that, because really I don't want to have a conversation about what someone else does on their show or their product. But yeah, some people do not agree that that's a good person for you to support the work that you're doing. But anyway, the second point in your book was about not feeling guilty about acting like a man.
Yeah.
Okay. And you say men need to stop apologizing for their sexuality. A lot of guys actually feel guilty about thinking and acting like men. When men find themselves staring at a woman's breast or fantasizing about running a hand between her legs, they usually feel bad about it. They also tend to feel, this is from the book, guys, this is from the book, they also tend to feel guilty about having a one-night stand or using a woman's affections just for sex. Many men have been convinced that these thoughts and urges are disrespectful when it's actually just a natural part of their biological makeup. Feeling guilty about being a man can stop you from having a great sex life. Just a bit more, it's not surprising that men feel guilty. From a young age, women have been telling you how immoral, disrespectful, careless, and stupid men are. Men don't know how to think with their heads. If he had any respect for women, he'd control himself better, is something that women may say. Men are dogs are also the way that women may refer to men. When you reach adulthood, you'll internalize this information in an attempt to live up to the female standards of how a good man should behave, and you find yourself trying desperately to suppress urges and feelings. Then, if and when you do act on them, you feel that you have failed at being a good man. Do you want to explain that a bit more?
Yeah, that's very important. Very important for men to not feel guilty about being men, because right now, especially nowadays in society, we have, a feminization of guys. You know what I mean? Especially now with black men, where they have, all these rappers wearing skirts, making it cool to, dress feminine and all these other things. So, but then, in the chapter, what I'm basically talking about also is like, don't apologize for being a sexual male. You understand? Like, because a lot of times a guy will walk down the street and he'll see a girl and he thinks she's physically attractive and he might want to turn around and check her out more, but then people will say, oh, that's rude for, like, looking at her or treating her as a sexual object. And the thing is, it's natural for you to want to do that because that's how we populate the earth. You need to be attracted to women in order for this thing to go around. You see what I mean? So when you suppress that, you're suppressing your manhood. And the thing is that what happens is a lot of times guys get their relationship advice from women. And the thing is that women tell men what they want, but they don't tell men what they respond to. You understand? So a lot of times when men get information from women, they're doing it. Women are training guys to be, punks and soft. You understand? Because that's what women think they want.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want that, but they don't respond to that. This is why a lot of times women will say, I want a nice guy, and she ends up with the jerk because she's responding to the quote-unquote jerk type of behavior. That's the one she wants to see, and she leaves the other guy in the friend zone. So this is why I always, I tell guys that it's important for you to tap into your manhood, not be scared to be a guy. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel guilty about that because, today's society, we make men feel guilty about being men. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, I've got someone who wants to come in.
Well, yeah, how you doing? This is Mike. Yeah, this is Mike. I called back in. Yes, sir.
Okay, Mike,
but there's other
we moved the conversation on. Hold on. Just saying, we've moved the conversation on, and we're now talking about chapter 2 of the book. We're talking about men feeling guilty about acting like men. So you may have missed that bit because I know I don't know if you heard that bit when you were calling back in. But reading the second chapter is talking about men not apologizing for their sexuality. What do you think about that chapter, Mike? What do you think?
Well, we have to, there's a balance scale to that, and it goes back to what I was saying last time. If men don't apologize for their sexuality, women should not apologize for their sexuality.
Exactly, also, I agree.
Right. So what I'm saying, sir, you have to have a balance scale. You gave some statistics. You said that in the last summer you counted 100 and some women that you dealt with. Mm-hmm. But if a woman has that same number on her side, the man can't be mad. And I'm just saying,
I agree.
I'm going to have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that.
But I'm going to let you know, if I'm with a woman for 7 years and she had sex, she had 107 penises in her or gone, and another man is on 107 men has looked into the one I said I want to be with together, the one I said she's special. Out of all the other women, there's something special about her. Nah, bro, I can't do that. Unless
let me ask you why is that a problem, though? Well, why is that a problem, though?
Because me knowing other men and other human beings, listen, I agree with you. I agree with a lot of things that you're saying. If I have a woman, other men should be attracted and says, damn, she look good, right? I agree with you. But if other men hump on the one that she's with me, yes, I have a problem because I know how men will get possessive. Men would try to impregnate her, do all the shady stuff. I don't know other people's minds. Marriage is a commitment, agreement about compromise and commitment about two people. Now, I agree with you, but saying that, having a contract saying that I don't meet the other person that you're dealing with, right? This open marriage and all, it causes too much chaos and confusion because even having said and done, I asked this woman this question. I said, the person that you're having your open relationship, are you concerned if they're married or not? The question was they didn't care. And I said, ma'am, if you don't care, that means you don't care if you're cheating or not. Why don't you know or want to know the person that you're having your relationship in your open marriage with, they may be cheating on somebody. And
I wanted to know why you would be uncomfortable being with a woman who's had 100 guys. That's what I wanted to know.
No, I'm talking about the process with me. No. I never said in the past. We're talking about open marriage. I never said in the past because, sir, I've challenged men, and some men have told me and said, you know, one thing you should ask a woman to see if you trust her. They're asking things that we can never verify, and I agree with you. I would never ask a woman how many men you had in the past. What was the first age? How many abortions you did? These are things I would never verify. I ask the questions that I can verify to see if you're truthful. But some of these people, I agree, but you're talking about while we're in a relationship, that's different, sir. I'm not talking about before. We're talking about
right. So you're saying while you're in a relationship, you wouldn't want your women being with other guys. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm sorry. You can call me old traditional. I'm the non-traditional person that you want. Right. I agree there should be a balance, but no, sir. No.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. I'm saying
falls in love because I have something good, and if another man falls in love with that, I may have some problem with a psychological path. I know how people are. He may get obsessed and is bringing things on. So that's why these people with this open marriage says, oh, we have to have a contract if another person does this, and they may go out in another town to visit a woman and all those things.
Hold on.
Well, no, I'm bringing everything together. Because I'm bringing everything together. I'm bringing everything together. But you know what I'm saying. I think you're hating right now, April. I'll be quiet.
No, I see what you're saying, though. I totally see what you're saying. I just think also at the end of the day, too, it's really about the people that you're dealing with and knowing how they are. Like, for example, I was with this one girl, and we were dating. We weren't even in like a serious relationship or anything like that. But we had this agreement that I was said, hey, I want to know when you're dating other guys, and she was like, I want to know when you're dating other girls, because I was on this let's do this whole big honesty type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, after a while, I started to realize that she was lying to me and stuff. After we agreed to be honest, you know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, well, I can't deal with her anymore because I'm starting to see that she's the type of woman that, I can't be with because we already made this decision and it's not working out that way. So a lot of times it's really you, before you even get into a real serious committed relationship with people, understanding the type of person you're with and seeing, is this the right type of person to keep going with? And if they're not, then you kick them to the curb. So when it gets to that point, if a person ever wanted to have that type of relationship where, your girl is doing this or you're doing that or whatever, you already know that this person you're with is the type of person you can have that type of relationship with and not have to deal with some other guy, getting all in love with her because what it is also, too, is that the way that you talk to your woman, and I blame this on the guys a lot, is that a lot of guys say they have issues with the girl because they do this and do that and the girl's disrespecting them. A lot of times it's because you haven't set the precedent as a man to tell your woman this is how it's going to go in our relationship. And if she's not down with that,
you never should do that. You never should do that in a relationship. No. Hold up, sir. See, that's the problem. See, now it's unbalanced. You said a man should, when a man gets a woman, he should tell a woman, this is how it's going to run our relationship. And I said, hold up, there's another individual involved. And I said, how can you do that? I will never raise my daughter to tell a man to come in her life, and I'm raising her to be educated and be logical and say, whatever the person coming in your life, this is how it's going to be ran. No, she has input too. How dare you?
This is what I'm trying to, listen, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. You have to understand that women generally, and this is not all women, but women generally are very impressionable. This is why women are moved by words. So the same thing that you were saying, sir, about how if you don't want your women to be dealing with this other guy and this other guy is falling in love with her or she might be doing all this other stuff, that the only reason that your girl would be even giving this guy the idea that could even happen is because you, as a man, haven't set the precedent. I'm not saying you have to order your girl to do this and do that or not say this or she has no say. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying you, as a man, as a leader, you're supposed to set that precedent. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. You're saying you're not saying that. I want us as men to see how we would instruct our daughters when they get older.
Yes, and I was saying, I tell my daughter to listen to her man. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay, fine. And so if that man says, listen, I want to go, listen, I love you, woman. I want you to submit to me. But what I'm going to do as a man, since I have the last say, when I get mad, I can go and have sex with any woman I want, and you're going to submit to me because I say, hell no, bro, I'm not going to raise my daughter like that.
Again. You see, you're taking it all the way out of context. A woman also has to know how to choose the right man to follow. Everything comes here, and this is what the balance is. It all comes together.
I don't want my daughter to follow no man. I want her to stand beside a man. I don't want I'm teaching my daughter to be logical. I'm teaching her to be educational. I'm teaching her to be. I'm teaching her to think, so no man can dictate her and totally rule her.
Okay.
And can a
woman on this show? Can a woman? Hold on.
I'm quiet, Evan. Okay. You think we're taking over the show? I'm quiet, bro.
No, feels like it. Okay, so there were some other chapters in the book, and I don't want to lose sight of the book because when you get stuck in a conversation that is going into all different directions, people cannot follow the logic of the conversation and the book that we're trying to follow. Okay, Mike? So I'm going to ask you to keep the comments to the book and the part of the book that we're talking about. All right? Cool. Enough diversion or whatever. We've only got I
got broken up. I didn't finish my comments the last time. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's pass on that. So can some women call in? I would love to hear from the ladies. I want to hear what you think about some of the comments that you hear from the stuff you've heard tonight. I think it's interesting hearing a man's point of view, and I just want to know what you girls, ladies, think about the book that you've heard tonight. And I know some of it's pretty controversial, and I have read out some of the comments from the chat room, but I'm sure we would love to hear what some of you guys are saying on air, all right? So join the conversation, call in on 347-945-7556. It's only 45 minutes of the show left. Okay. All right, so whilst we're waiting for people to call in, all right, I'm going to give us a little psychological break. But I just want to refer you to the book, which is, the 10 Magnificent Dating Tips. We've done 2 tips so far. The first tip was, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because people are still sending me comments on Facebook, although I've set the record straight. There's still people congratulating me, and I'm like, Stop now.
Really? Still?
Okay. So they're still biting it, and I just cannot believe. Okay. So the tip 1 was to date as many women as possible. Tip 2 was about, not being afraid of your sexuality as men. Tip number 3 is you're not a nice guy, so don't act like one. So you want to be liked. You want to impress a woman. You want to, you want her to feel good around you, but then she says you're too nice. And there's a chapter there trying to encourage men not to be nice, but what, Mr. Locario? What are you saying about the being nice?
Yeah, well, basically, I say, don't be a nice guy because you're not one, is because being a nice guy is acting fake. So what a lot of guys do as nice guys, they try to, they try to impress the woman. They try to agree with everything she's saying. They're going out of their way to do things to just make her like him. You understand? So he's not being himself. So the reason why I say you're not a nice guy is that sometimes you'll be on a date with a woman and she might say something that you don't agree with, and then you can counter what she's saying. But a lot of times what the nice guy does, he'll agree with everything she's saying. Or she might, he might want to take her somewhere, and then she's suggesting this other place, and he knows that the other place kind of sucks, but he's just going to go along with it anyway. So he's kind of, pretending just to appease her. So what I say is that if you be yourself, you're not going to be that nice guy. You understand? Because no guy is really a nice guy. You are yourself, and when you're yourself, you're going to be more natural. You're going to be, the person that you are, and she's going to see that. And that's what's more attractive to a woman than a woman seeing a guy. And women, you ladies can tell when a guy's, trying to do too many things and trying to do a whole bunch of extra stuff just to impress you, and which is not really going to turn you on because you're not really seeing the real him, which is why a lot of women will gravitate to, the quote-unquote bad boy type of guy, because the bad boy is going to tell you no. The bad boy is going to tell you, how he really feels, and then you start to really see him and you believe him more. You believe that guy versus the nice guy, because the nice guy, you don't really know who he is yet. All you see is that he's trying to impress you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to tell guys not to go that nice guy route. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear that. What do you ladies think? Do you think it's okay for guys to be nice? And I'm trying to pick up what the ladies are saying in the chat room. Someone
they know
saying,
what
yeah,
nice guy.
some women call in and give a female perspective.
They want real guys.
As men say, ho, sit your booty down. Oh, Lord. He can voice his opinion. Oh, so they're talking about your point about men being assertive. He can voice his opinion to her in a respectful way and not just say no. Okay, living a delicious life. People have to train men to do this. Lordy must not have had a daddy. Bad boy got some edge. And Love and Light saying, nah, he falls in the negative stereotype. So is it a stereotype?
They said I'm promoting I'm promoting a negative stereotype. Was that
I'm
the
not
comment?
sure if that's what Love and Light. No, it says no. He falls in the negative stereotype, and I'm not sure what that means. Is that saying that what you're saying is just a stereotype, but maybe Love and Light you need to? Yeah, she's agreeing.
So she's saying that the stereotype is what?
About men.
About men, about what? About being a nice guy?
Yeah, being a nice guy.
No, well, that's the thing. There are a lot of guys who are the nice guy, and a lot of guys take comfort in that. So, for example, if a guy is into you and then he's doing this whole nice guy thing, and then you end up not calling him back, or you're not really there's no spark there, he's going to say, oh, it's because she doesn't want me because I'm nice. And it's like, no, she didn't want you because you weren't being yourself. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that happens is that being a nice guy is not yourself. Because no one is nice, quote unquote, all the time. You understand what I'm saying? As far as what the nice guy personification is, because it's all in that. You see what I mean? And that happens with guys who don't really understand attraction and attracting women. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is that they hear their friends who are girls or their sisters or whoever say, I just really want a nice guy. I'm tired of all these jerks. I want a nice guy, want a nice guy, want a nice guy. So then that guy says, you know what? I'm going to be that nice guy she wants. And then next thing you know, he presents himself, and then she wonders why she's not feeling anything, because that's not what she wanted. And that's what I was saying at the beginning, where I was like, what a woman says she wants and what she responds to is two totally different things. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I get that. Okay. And then you've got chapter 4. If anybody's got a comment about your nice guy. Okay. That great society has of black men over-sexualized and domineering with black women. Oh, okay. I think that's clarifying the stereotype.
Is that black men over-sexualizing?
Black men over-sexualized and domineering with black women. I think that's
the
stereotype.
It's not black men over-sexualizing women. It's men over-sexualizing women. White, black, Asian, whoever. That's what men do. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I want women to understand, is that there's nothing to be ashamed about being being looked at sexually by a man. That's a good thing. That's supposed to happen. That's natural. You understand what I'm saying? The thing is, a lot of women don't want just that. They don't want a guy just to look at them as a sexual object. You understand what I'm saying? But then that part depends on the woman. That depends on how good your game is as a woman to show this man that you have more than just a pretty face. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. All right, let's go to chapter 4, because I want people to understand this book before the end of the show. So chapter 4, you talk about getting her number isn't enough. What's that chapter about?
Yeah, basically, like a lot of times guys, they try to, they get girls, they get excited because they get a whole bunch of girls' numbers. They tell the girl, hey, give me a number. A lot of guys do it as sort of like a game, see how much numbers I can get, and they think that getting a girl's number is that equals a date, or that means that she likes him, or that means that she's going to see him again. And the thing is, a lot of times women, you'll give a guy your number just to get rid of him because you're like, oh, my God, this guy's bothering me. All right, here, take my number. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes a woman might have a man already and, she's just looking for attention, so she gives the guy the number. So there's all these different reasons why she gives you the number. But when I talk about getting her number isn't enough, basically what I say is that in general, when you're talking to a woman, there has to be some sort of unique exchange between you and her for the number to mean something. So when after you leave this woman and you have her number, once you left her, she should be thinking about you, expecting your call. You understand? Because you're not the only guy who tried to get her number or got her number that day or week. You understand? So in order for you to stick out, in order for you to be that dude that she's thinking about, you have to create some sort of interest within that situation that y'all talked at first before you got her number. So I tell guys to kind of make the woman really feel that energy before they get the number. Don't just think like, hey, let me get your number, and that's going to be it. Because a lot of times when those guys get numbers like that and then they call the girls don't pick up, they flake, all these other things happen. And that's because they haven't really had that interaction for the girl to even think about really wanting to see this guy again. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, they do. There is an obsession with getting numbers.
That's
and the interesting thing is that when you meet a guy on the street, this is what my experience, okay, and he says, I want to give you my number. Can I have your number? Can I have your number? Now, what we used to do as women, we used to give them fake numbers, okay? But ladies, listen to this one. So the coup now is that they will ring your phone before you move to make sure they have the number, right? So something that, for young women, this is what my daughter does. I mean, she's only young. She's 19. So what she does when she gets a guy insists, because now men get pretty brutal about getting the number, okay? And young women will understand this. So if you try to walk away without giving your number and he likes you, then he will really, harass you for that number. And you can't give the fake number because they insist on ringing the number before you move. So what my daughter does is give him my number, okay? And then he rings my number, and I will notice a weird number come up on my phone. And when I see that, I normally ignore it. But he's happy because he's heard a ring. And she gets away nice and safely. And then later on, he'll ring back. Oh, you saw me down the street. And then, no, you didn't. You saw my daughter. And she goes, what the fuck? Get off my phone.
That's crazy.
And I'm fine with it because that's the way it keeps her safe from those men who don't know.
That is funny.
No, when a woman doesn't want to give you the number. Right, okay.
That is funny. Yeah. That is funny. Yeah, sometimes I just tell guys, you can give I tell guys sometimes to give the girl their number sometimes, so that takes less of the pressure off of him and her. So if she likes him, she'll call him. Yes, of course, that happens. Yes, it happens a lot. If a girl is into you, a lot of girls that I've dated, I gave them my number because I didn't feel like doing all the work. So I said, hey, listen, I think you're interesting. Here's my number. Call me on Monday. And on Monday, my phone was ringing. You know what I'm saying? So and then it gets rid of the flaky girls. So it's like, if they really want to get in contact, they're going to call. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you harass her and she gives you the number, it's only because of the pressure. But I like the one, like if you meet someone in a club, right, this is what I used to do. I don't do it anymore, people, right? If you meet someone in a club and they insist on my number, I'll give them the fake number in the club. Because if they ever try to ring it in the club, it will never ring. And I normally say, oh, no network. No network. Try ringing it later. Know that when they get out that club, they ring that number, it won't ring because it's a fake number. But, sometimes because men just don't know when to go away. So, I've given away my little secret now. But that's a way to do it. Say, okay, we'll do it inside the club because, there's never a network in the club. And then when you get out, they'll try it and they won't get you and then it's too late, okay? Just hope he's not smart enough to go outside and try and ring the number before you leave the club. Okay. So, are we still on? Are you still there? Okay. I think I've lost Mr. Locario.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here.
Right, okay. I can he's gone a bit quiet. All right. So let's see through this book. So getting her number is not enough. That's chapter 4. And then chapter 5 Be real, but don't show her everything. What's that about?
Yeah, so, I tell guys to really just be honest, let her know what you're about, what you're trying to do, what you're into, whatever. But, you don't have to tell her everything about you, because a lot of times when people say, yeah, be honest, people think they need to spill their guts and tell them every crazy thing that they do in their life, and you don't really need to do that. So, for example, if you're on a date with a woman, you can tell her, like, hey, I'm in college right now, I'm just hanging out, having fun, dating around, I like to, play basketball, I do this and do that, but you don't have to tell a woman, hey, at night I masturbate to, like, I don't know, like, Asian girls doing it in the butt or something. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't really need to know that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the conversation gets to that point, then that's cool, but you don't necessarily need to spill out all of the details of your whole life. And the thing is that sometimes you want to keep a little bit of mystery, around something for her to find out later. You know what I'm saying? So, because if you tell her everything up at once, there's nothing else to explore, nothing else to learn. You see what I'm saying? But it's good to share enough that she gets a good sense of who you are. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. I've got someone who wants to join the conversation. 3993, welcome to the show.
Hi,
Hello.
Ebony. How's it going? Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm always doing good when I hear you, Ebony.
Oh.
Got an interesting conversation going on today. Yes, I am. Glad you decided to stay on the line. I thought you had quit for a while there. We went for a whole day without hearing from her. It's like, where is she? Yeah, our last conversation, you were thinking of coming to the States, and then next time we didn't hear from you. It's like, no notice, nothing. And then you were back on again.
Okay. Oh,
it's
well,
like maybe she's in the States
I've had a
now.
busy couple of weeks. No,
okay.
I had a busy couple of weeks, but
yeah,
everything's fine now. Yeah. You're not on my Facebook page, or you would have got my April Fool's Day joke, which was that I'd got married, or I'm getting married. Some people believed I was getting married, but I didn't say it's marriage. I just said someone went down on one knee and people believed it was marriage. So that was my April Fool's joke. But people still trying to recover.
Well, I thought I heard it a few moments ago, an April Fool joke. I was just listening to the young man's comments there, and that would be quite a surprise for a first date.
Yeah, my English girls, they like to do it in the butt. You want to give her that kind of surprise. What was that? My God.
Hey,
some people,
you have to bring that up.
Wrong with that, just say it.
Okay, April
Fool. Guy to come on to repeat it. Right. Come on, I let it go because I just thought he's having a light moment. So please, we don't have to go there, Rod. We got it. The adults in the room got it. So we moved on.
That was surprising. That's why I couldn't believe you said it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things people can't believe. What do you think about the book so far, Rod? Because have you been listening since the beginning of the show, or are you just getting on?
I'm just catching. You have to catch me up a bit. Give me the title of the book. I just came on his comment.
All right. So the title of the book is "The 10 Magnificent Dating Tips for Men." So we're talking about dating tips for men. So you sit back. You may learn something tonight. You may need a glass of wine first for some of the side comments, but we're just talking about dating tips for men. And I think for women, it's important to hear this because if you're out there and you're trying to date, you may not know the person that you're trying to date is on a different agenda. And I'm not sure if this is the young guy's agenda or if it's most men out there who are dating multi women at the same time, who who may be trying to prove that they're a real man, whatever that is, in some shape or form. We're following the book now, right? I don't know, but what I've learned tonight is that it may be a different world for some women out there, because sometimes you just don't know what the guy, when you're dating someone, what's going on for them. So I think you might assume this relationship is exclusive, but it's not exclusive, and that, you know, that could be the problem for some women. Some learning,
right.
We're all learning from the conversation. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've covered 4 chapters or 5 chapters, but we're down to the 5th chapter. We haven't actually completed the 5th, but Mr. Locario was talking about how men can be more real in relationships. So be real, but don't show women everything, and that's where the side comment came from. That was chapter 5. But the other chapters have been getting her number isn't enough. So some men obsessed with getting a woman's number. You're not a nice guy, so don't act like one, is chapter 3. Don't feel guilty about acting like a man, is chapter 2. And chapter 1 is date a lot of women at one time. Okay? Great. Bless you. Okay. So chapter 6, Mr. Locario. Chapter 6 is first date should be cheap. Now, a lot of men listening tonight will be happy with that.
Yes, that's my favorite chapter.
I keep them in the afternoon.
Most of them are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that chapter is basically, telling guys that they don't need to really be spending too much money on a first date, because first date is you and the person getting to know each other, and I actually tell guys to spend like $10 or less on the first date. Like take someone to get coffee or something and chat for an hour and a half, and then that's your date. So you can see if there's like a connection between you and that person. You see if you actually want to see her again. You see if she wants to see you again or whatever it is like that, and and then you move on. The thing is that a lot of times when people have first dates, guys feel like they're supposed to take women to expensive restaurants and pull out all this money, and they actually had a Dateline special, I think on NBC, where they were interviewing this woman and a couple of other ladies who specifically go on dates with guys just to get free meals. So it's not like they even like the guy. They just go out with the guys because they're going to take them out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't want to be one of those guys that get caught out there spending all your money with a woman who's not even interested in you and she's just using you for a meal. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I say keep the first dates cheap, keep it low, keep it something light, and then you could get to know the person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, someone in my chat room said it depends on the income of the man and if he can write the date off on his tax expenses.
You can write off on his taxes?
Yeah.
Well, if you can do that, then hey. If you can do that, then you can find a way to do that and do it. But.
So I hear that comment. Some men are not obsessed with how much they spend on a date, because if they can afford it, they'll spend it because they're going to enjoy it and take part in it as well.
No, guys usually do that. They're not dating enough women. That's what it is, or they don't have that much dating experience, because no matter how much money you're making, and always use this as an example, men who make a lot of money usually make a lot of money because they or have like their own business, or they're up there, 6-7 figures. They usually have that type of money because they're good with money. So they're looking at things as more in assets and liabilities. So they look at their money as, is my money going to make me more money? So a guy's not, just because he has a lot of money, that's even more reason why he would most likely do something cheap, because he's like, why am I spending all this money on this date for? What is this going to do for my money later on? See, guys who know about money and who are in tune with their money think about it like that. They don't think about, well, I have a lot of money, let me just throw it away and on someone who I don't even know if I like yet. You see what I'm saying? So they're not going to do that. Most of the smart guys won't do that. You see what I'm saying? So, and I always say, if a guy's going to go out with you on the first date and he's spending like $200, $300 on you, that's almost kind of a red flag. So you have to say to yourself, why is this guy doing this and he doesn't even really know me like this? It's kind of weird. You see what I'm saying? So
he wants to spend his money.
No, he's doing it because he's needy. He's needy. That's usually those needy. Those are the guys that are going to show up at your job with flowers unannounced.
Oh Lord. Well, THCO, H2O, is saying when the dating becomes so convoluted, and Michelle is saying, but also don't be a penny pincher. If someone is a penny pincher with their money, they'll probably be a penny pincher with their love and affection. Hey, high-fiving you, Michelle. I totally agree with you on that one.
I totally disagree.
I think that's a good comment.
I totally disagree.
Hi, Granny Ganja. I know, but I agree with her. And Love and Light saying not true in my experience. But Michelle saying I'd rather go Dutch.
I like Dutch. Dutch is cool too.
Dutch is cool, but like, come on. If you can afford
that's the thing, though.
Save it.
See, that's the problem, though.
Come on.
No, that's the problem with dating, because a lot of times you have a lot of women who equate the amount of money a guy spends on her as to say that, that means that he likes her or he's interested in her that much. They see it, well, if he only spent $10, $20 on me, that means he's not really into me. And it's like, no, the guy is trying to get to know you. It's not really about the money that's spent. It's about the time that's spent and seeing if y'all connect. That's really what the date's supposed to be about. It's not, I used to take girls to dates to the laundry. I would say, hey, I got to do my laundry. You want to roll with me? And we would go to the laundry, sit and watch the laundry thing spin and just talk. That was our date. You know what I'm saying? So I'd take girls across the park. I'd buy her a bottle of water. I'd buy myself a bottle of water. We go in the park and we talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't need to be extravagant.
I swear you know some of the guys who call into this show, because I've heard that comment before. I've heard that I buy a bottle of water and I give her a bottle of water. Now, what if she
that is a
doesn't
perfect
want a
date.
bottle of water? What if she
get a Snapple.
Wine?
We could get a glass of wine too. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not spending $300 on, a date on you.
At least some Ciroc. Come on.
Some Ciroc.
It's not about the money.
No, okay. If it's not about the money, hold on. If it's not about the money, I want all the ladies listening. For your next couple of dates, you pay for everything that's not about the money. That's all. Do that. I want you ladies to do that. Start paying for everything for the next couple of dates, and we'll see if it's not about the money. That's what a person who's not, because I remember I was staying at one of my friend's house one time when I got kicked out of my mother's house or whatever, and I'm staying with him, and he came home and he's like, yo, why are all the lights on? When you leave the house, turn off the lights because you mess with the light bill. And I'm like, dude, what's the big deal? Blah blah blah. The big deal is he's paying the bill. I'm not paying the bill, so I don't see it as a big deal. That's the reason why women say, well, it's not about the money.
So if we went Dutch and I wanted to go to a really nice seafood restaurant and spend some money, drink some champagne, and hang out with you, would you have a problem with that? If I was paying half?
If you're paying,
and I wanted to go somewhere classy where we spent some real money, and we just hang out.
And you're paying. And you're paying.
Yeah, I'm paying half.
Yeah.
I'm paying half.
No. If you're paying all of it, you got to pay all of it. All of it.
No,
if you're paying all of it, we could do it.
Oh, listen, it's Dutch, right? I'm saying, look, this is what I like. This is what I like to eat. I just fancy it's a nice summer's night. Let's just go hang out and do something crazy.
Right.
Eat some great food and do some things, wild and fun. And that may involve, going to a really great restaurant and eating some nice food and drinking some champagne. I'm willing to go half. Would you have a problem with that?
Yeah, if it depends on how much all that costs, then we can go half. But see, this is the thing why. Let me back it up. The reason why guys need to think about money is because, like I was saying before, you as a man, you're the one who has to put in a lot of work up front in the beginning. Like I have to, find you, talk to you, get your information, call you, set the date up. I have to do all these things. Now I do all these things and I take you out and I spend $200 on you, and then next thing you know, for some reason you realize you don't like me, or I realize I don't like you, and then it's like I done spent $200 on you, and now I got to go find another woman to go and do the same exact thing over and over again, and then spend more money. You see what I'm saying? So it becomes like this. It's not financially smart, and it's not smart with your time, really. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so the thing is like, that's why I tell guys to go on cheap dates. I usually tell guys for the first 3 days to spend not that much money.
There are some guys who are pretty cheap, so I don't have a problem with that. I understand that. Okay.
Yeah, but if you're paying, we can take any.
Yeah, and you know what? You guys would need to keep it cheap, especially if you're multi-dating, because, you know, you're probably trying to sleep with 5 or 6 girls on the go, and having to pay for more than a bottle of water for each would probably break your bank, okay? Just keeping it real. Keeping it real.
We got that 30-day rule. We got to break you guys in. 30 days.
Exactly.
We don't have that 3-day, I get it, and we're couples.
So I say to women, right, hold it down.
30 days.
Don't give them anything. Don't give them anything, especially when they're offering you a bottle of water. Don't give them anything.
Well,
okay?
he wanted to live. I'm trying to keep you alive.
Okay, I'm going to bring a couple of people in, and I'm going to refresh my phone while I do that. Just say to people, you want to call in, we've got about 16 minutes of the show, live show left, 347-945-7556. I'm sure these are a couple of my regulars who want to come in. Let's bring them in. Oh, Lord. 111, welcome to the show. Hello?
Yeah, Ebony, this is Mike. What's up?
Oh, Mike, hold on. You can speak. I'm bringing someone else in as well. Hi, welcome to the show.
This is for the guests. You will never ever penetrate the brain cells of the women on this line. They don't understand what about money, about dating, nada. Yeah, really, Evan. Yeah.
Oh, well, I just had a message from one of my girls saying, why don't they just pay for a hole? If there's 7 women, it's agreed anyway.
Because we don't know, but nobody wants to pay
how
for a
money
hole
never
either.
means anything. You always have shows about money and how men should spend it and how you women are never supposed to spend it.
No. You missed the beginning of the show. I hate when people just
No, I'm here now. I listened to the last 3 minutes.
No, you're talking. The conversation,
you are talking again about.
Well, if I want you to go and listen to.
I heard. Look, I know you. I know your shows. I know what it's about.
What do you know about? You know nothing.
I know everything about what you're talking about. We've had these shows together for years. So don't tell me I don't know about it. I know about it. Here you are talking about. Oh, stop it! You got look. I'm telling you, you're never gonna penetrate the brain cells of any of the women on this line. Never.
Okay. He's not going to convince us, but we're having a conversation, and we're just making a point that he said that men multi-date anyway, and I'm saying maybe they can't afford more than a bottle of water for a woman, especially when they're dating 4 or 5.
Yeah, you are in the conversation again about if a man can afford or not.
Why is it always he can't afford? That's the default. The man is not the man can afford, can't afford. It's the man is not going to pay that much to see you, to talk to you. Basically, what's happening is that, a lot of women, I did a video a long time ago, and I said most women are prostitutes or don't realize they're prostitutes, because what happens is that you expect a man to pay for your time. When a guy goes on a date with you, he's not paying for your time. He's going out with you to spend time with you. So the money is irrelevant. Do you understand? Like, if a guy spends a quarter on you, or a quarter in the interaction, that's cool. It's about you spending time with him. It's not about how much money is spent. And that's the thing that women don't realize, and that's why a lot of times things don't work out, because women keep equating their worth to the money. This is why the commenter was saying, just get a hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. You know what I mean? So.
You'll never get it through to the women on this line. Never. It'll never penetrate.
Well, can I go to your nice guy point? I was on meeting with your nice guy, and I agree. I just don't like that concept, because, see, if a woman mistreats you, it's their problem. And a lot of us try to change ourselves, and if someone doesn't appreciate, it's that person. And when we say don't be that nice guy, some people will go and say, well, I'm going to be opposite of what I was before because I got dogged and treated out, and I'm going to be more aggressive, and I don't do nothing for a woman. I don't show how to appreciate it. I think it was the person that person got was involved with, sir. So sometimes the nice guy is good. Be yourself.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. It's about being yourself. It's not even about being like a jerk. Even it's not about being nasty to women and it's none of that. It's about if you are yourself, then it's going to resonate that this is who you are, and you're not going to be on some nice guy stuff, and that's what's going to attract the woman to you because she sees that you're a normal person. She sees that you have opinions and thoughts of your own, and you're not just going along with what she's saying. Because women look for that in men. They look for what you're about, and if you're trying to be a nice guy, you're not really showing her who you are. You know what I'm saying? And that's what really messes it up for a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying?
But we should come up with the word Dutch more, because if a woman can go Dutch, it's all good.
Mr. Locario?
Yeah. What's up?
I've got a question for you because I had to refresh my phone. So a question for you is: did you say most women are prostitutes? Because I'm just going to delete you off my line in a minute. Did you say that? Did you say most women? Did you say most
women are what?
Did you say most women are prostitutes?
Are prostitutes?
Yeah.
No, I said I did a video where I said that most women don't realize they're prostitutes. Because what happens is that women they expect that for a man to pay for their time. So they're saying, well, you should pay this much on a date. You should pay this amount to hang out with me. So it becomes more of a thing of you're paying to be with me versus we're going out to be together. You see what I'm saying? And a man pays for a prostitute's time. He's paying for the time he's with her. So this is why the money is important to a hoe. You understand what I'm saying? If you're a woman and if you're just a regular girl and you're not a hoe, then the money shouldn't matter to you because you're just spending time with that person. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is that a lot of women
I think it's fine if a woman. I think it's fine if people go Dutch. I actually agree with going Dutch, but I don't think if someone's going Dutch that you should be penny pinching and be worrying about how much you're going to spend. That woman might just have expensive taste.
Well, that's what's something you just don't quite understand.
I don't see a problem.
Yeah, I know you got a problem with it. If a woman's making $100,000 a year, and excuse me, if a woman's gonna make,
what happened?
I just muted. Muted him because I don't know I'm speaking over me on my show, right? Enough. Okay, all right. That's enough BS for one night. Okay. So the point I was making before I was rudely interrupted was that if someone wants to go Dutch, you can do things by agreement. And I joke when I say you should be spending more. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be with anyone, okay?
Right.
But at the same time, I think you can agree stuff. There's nothing wrong with agreeing stuff. But don't assume that all women want you to go out there and spend loads of money. And I get it that men can't afford to because they're on this numbers game, the men that you're talking about. And I'm seriously saying, it's not a numbers game.
But also it's not really a thing about affordability. That's the default thing. It's kind of it's like sometimes women will use this excuse like say somebody don't like you, and then you be like, oh, that's because you gay. That's why you don't like me. No, maybe it's because I'm not attracted to you. It's so when it comes to money, it's not that I can afford to spend all this. It's that I choose not to spend all this on you. You see what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of guys started to do when they get into the dating game, because what happens is a lot of guys, because back in the day, a woman would go out with you actually because she liked the guy. The woman would go out because she liked him. Nowadays, you have a lot of women who might go out with a guy just because she wants a free meal, just because she's bored. So for the guy to spend that money, he starts to see like, damn, I just spent all this money and there was nothing going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, for him, he say it's smarter for me to not put in all this money until I get to know her, until I see that she is, worthy of me actually taking her out to those dates where I go extravagant and do all this other stuff. That comes later.
Right, it's wise. Because I don't think any mother would suggest her son to go ahead and spend a lot of money on different women. Like you're saying, we need to avoid.
I agree. Women are not dumb, Mike. We know that you shouldn't have to spend loads of money. What we hate is a conversation of limitation. Like, I'm only going to buy water. Mr. Solutions loves to give that one. I took a woman out and I bought her water. And sort of hyping up the fact that being mean is a good thing. Because you're being mean. Well, we know what you want, okay? So what I'm saying
is...
No one's being unreasonable. No one's being unreasonable. What we're saying is, and women aren't stupid. Some women do take you for granted and whatever. And I understand the advice that's being given. I'm just saying, don't be too mean in your expressions to women, because that says something to women about your ability, you know, to have a relationship with me. If you really have no money, don't go out and date. Stay in your house.
No, but that's where you're going again. Hold on, wait. You're going back to it again. You're saying that if you don't have any money, you shouldn't date. It's not about that.
If you don't have no money, don't date. Right? I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and I've muted Mike for a reason. Okay? I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. If you got no money, don't date. Wait in your house, save up enough until you can go out and then buy a hoe. That's the best thing. Okay.
No. It's what I'm saying.
Tigers and bears.
It's not.
Shut up now. I want to hear from a woman. Okay. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me? Hey. It's good to be back.
Oh, it's good to have you. Okay.
Yeah, I've missed you all. So I just wanted to. Yeah. But you got me this morning. I really thought that you were going to get married. I was so happy for you for a moment.
Come on, Vicky. You didn't know about that. You couldn't have believed that.
Well, he was such a gorgeous guy, and they looked so happy together. I thought, oh my gosh, it's finally happened. But anyway,
well,
I'd rather be fooled than not.
No, I was going to say, if it happens, know that you won't get me going on Facebook and saying something like that. I'll put
I know. I should have thought of it.
People see that I've definitely done it. That's not my style. I wouldn't do it that way. So.
Yeah, you're right. And I should have thought of that. I just got caught up in the excitement of it all.
Vicky was going to say, I want to see the ring. Show me the ring.
Well, you know what? You weren't the only one. I got about 72 people who agreed and thought that it was definitely happening. But you know what? Hey, that's a good, to me, April Fool for everyone. Like, come on. I didn't say marriage. I didn't mention it. But yeah, people believe what they want to believe.
They do. Okay. That's right. So I wanted to make a couple of comments. So just going back to the money thing, I did say that I completely agree. The purpose of a date is to get to know someone. So it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you both. As long as that's what happens. And it's not. It really isn't about the money spent. I've always said I like to go Dutch with dates.
Right.
So it's not about that. But I've had experiences where I'm very interested in a guy, and we've agreed to go Dutch, and we've even agreed to go somewhere really simple, and that's all fine with me. And then when we go to pay, for example, this just happened to me on Saturday night. We go to pay, and I don't have change, so he just gave my money over, and he just topped it up. And then when the woman gave us change back, he took the change. Now, to me, that's a penny pincher.
Wait, he stole your money? He robbed you?
Right.
That's what it sounds.
To me, that's a nicely person.
That's not Dutch. She got robbed. No.
That was an instant turn-off. Or if someone insists on picking you up to take you somewhere where you're going to go Dutch, and then they insist on picking you up, and you say, no, it's okay, I can meet you there, no problem. And then they start talking about, at the end of the day, how much money they spend on petrol and blah, 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 blah.
That's kind of whack.
That's penny pincher. That's what I'm talking about.
I agree. That's kind of whack. You don't need to be...
No,
guys
they
doing
don't
that.
deserve a date. They don't deserve a date.
No, that stuff is whack. I agree.
If you can't even afford... I mean, if you can't even afford to pick up someone and pay for the petrol, for God's sake, get off the dating boat. Get out of it.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can afford it, but that's what I'm saying. Like the guy, I look at it like this: if the guy, usually guys are the ones that are setting up the dates and approaching you. So as the man, you need to say, okay, what do I want to spend? Because you can spend $150, $200 if you want. That's your prerogative. But as the man setting all this up, and if he says, hey, we're gonna go get some coffee, and he only spends like $5, you can't feel a certain way about that because you like ladies generally, y'all are waiting on men for these interactions to happen anyway. He's doing all the work. So if he's doing all the work and he's paying for these things, then it's like you should be happy that you're along for the ride and experience that experience and not get mad that he only spent $5 instead of $200. You know, and that's why I'm hearing a lot of women saying, like, they're expecting men to pay for them and pay all this money and for what? And then they'll say, well, it's because you can't afford it. And it's like, no. I actually had a friend who was close to $1 million net worth, and he would only spend $15 on a date with a girl. He could afford more, but he just wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying, on the first couple of dates.
Yeah, but I think in this day and age, not this day and age, but I think for women of a certain age, like my age, I'm 40. Most of my friends all earn their own income and all do quite well. It's not really an issue. They don't actually go into dating a guy based on, they're not looking for that at all. So perhaps when you're younger that might be the case, but I don't think that is. Certainly here in Australia, it's not that common. This is not really, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying there aren't women like that. I'm just saying that generally speaking, the people that I know and hang out with, they're not like that.
Yes, it's usually American women. Those they're crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. It must be an American thing because you know what? I hear about women taking advantage of men and whatever, and I've heard it here in the UK. But you know, I think. Yeah, if you're going out with someone who's mature, sensible, and you have your own money anyway, money is never an issue. And if you find a guy that is penny pinching and behaving like he's a 20-year-old or something, and I do see this as a young person's conversation, then you know what? Hey, I ain't dating you. Stay in your house. Don't even bother waste my time. I'm not up for it. I just think it's not grown people's conversation. It's a young person's conversation about money and holding on to this and not spending that. How many people are you dating, for God's sake? If you find that one person, you've really taken the time to try and get to know that person. You go out together for an occasion. I don't see, you know, the issue about how much you spend on petrol, you know, whether you should buy a drink or not. Because I may buy you a drink even. I might even, you know, but we don't have to make it an issue. The problem I think you're talking about is when people make it an issue that you even are going to talk about it. Like, what? No. Sort that out. Do you know what I mean?
The other thing I was going to say was just in terms of that, Granny keeps going on about the laundromat. The other thing I don't like is when a guy takes you on a so-called date, but he's trying to kill two birds with one stone by getting something else. Getting something else achieved. So
that's a player move right there.
It's like, well, trousers. No.
How about come to the laundromat? That way I can get my laundry done and have a date at the same time.
Exactly. That's how you do it.
They think they're being productive, you know.
That's perfect. That's a perfect date right there. Can come with me to run some errands.
Finish your laundry first and call me, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, come around and do some ironing and I'll cook for you. No.
Yeah.
No.
You're hired.
Yeah. Although I must say, my grandmother washed a shirt for a man that my grandfather, and he married her as a result of that. We kind of got into overtime, people, so I have to say we've kind of gone over our time. Mr. Locario, I don't know how your time is. Do you have to go, or are you?
I'm good for another 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay. Yeah. So maybe we'll go 15 minutes into overtime. Just if you've already called in, I should have notified people. I do apologize. But so many people hang out with this show all the time. I thought you would know. But, yeah, if you haven't called in, then you may not hear all the rest of the broadcast live or be able to interact. But I think you can still hear if you're in the chat room. But we're only going to go on for about another 15 minutes. Mr. Locario will have to go. Let's just spin through the rest of this book and what else we've got in this book. I think you get the thing about money, and maybe I'm going to put it down to the women that you decide to choose for your life or choose to date, you know, but we hear your advice. Thank you for that. I've got the Don't Call Her Again chapter. That's chapter 7. What's Don't Call Her Again about?
Yeah, that's when you're, you know, when when you're basically calling a girl too many times and she's not responding. So I tell guys, I'm at the stage now where I only call a girl once, and if she doesn't call me back, she's done. But for beginners, I tell them to give them 2 tries, and then on the third one, you leave a girl a message and say, hey, this, I really love to see you, but if I don't hear from you after this call, I'm not going to call you again. You know what I'm saying? I call that the ultimatum call. And so that's just letting her know, hey, I've been trying to hit you up. I ain't hear from you. If I don't hear from you after this, then we're done. So you keep moving. And so that's what I say, don't call her again. So you let her know that, it's not going to, I'm not going to keep, chasing you, because a lot of times some girls don't give you the number, and then they're kind of in between things. They're seeing some other guy, and they're keeping you on the side just in case it doesn't work out with this guy, or she's playing games. So it kind of it gives her that thing where it says, okay, if I really like this dude, I gotta call him back, or else I might not see him. You see what I'm saying? So
that's the way it usually is. You have to hold the women down as adults, because I ran into one. She's like, call me anytime. I called her once. She was busy, and she cursed me out because she was in the middle of playtime. And when I saw her on the street, she's like, oh, my God, I'm sorry about that. But I was in the middle, and this guy I was playing with, he wanted me to come back and get off the phone, and I can't let a phone ring. And we went into detail, and it's like, just tell me a certain time to call you. That's all. I mean, you solve all those craziness right there, lay stuff on the table. I'm between people now. I'm looking for a replacement. We still got friends out there. I mean, say such. I mean, so the new guy doesn't get blitzed. He's like, what the hell was that? Right. Oh, that was my boyfriend. He came back. We worked things out. I don't need to see you no more. Goodbye. Right. It's over. I mean, I can handle it. Say such instead of, arguments, throwing things. It's like, couldn't you have said that on the phone? And it's like, I thought you would have known. It's like, I'm a brilliant guy, but there are just some things I just won't know unless you women say such. Because a lot of women I know, when they go out with me and have a great time, they see me the next day with another woman, and they go, oh, my God. And I see them a couple of days later. It's like, what's wrong? Why are you running from me? Why are you angry? And it's like, because you're cheating on me. It's like, wait, we haven't slept together. We haven't had that conversation. I'm your boyfriend. You're my girlfriend. We're exclusive. We haven't got that far yet. So how could you possibly be mad at me? You're a cheater. You're no good. And a lot of women think like that.
Right, it's true.
And it's like, we've only gotten past the second date, which was real good. I thought we were good. Now we're mortal enemies. You laugh. I'm sure you've run into it.
It's horrible. It's so crazy. No, it's crazy like that out there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to let them know. You got to let them know.
That's why you go for 30 days instead of 3 dates. Like, okay, it's my second date. One more date, and then.
A lot of guys are scared to get rid of girls because they don't have that many options. That's why I always tell guys to date a lot of girls. That's another reason you got to date a lot of girls. So if one girl is not, she's not returning your calls, then kick it to the curb and then call the other one. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you got to keep it going.
Mhm.
That's exactly how you got to do it.
That's a sensible way to do things. Keep 2 or 3 things going at one time.
Right.
Keep everybody on the same page.
Right.
And so when you're out in the restaurant and you see one of your people, hey, it's okay to wave him. Who's that? That's one of your friends, right? Yes. When we become a couple, I'm still going to have lady friends out there. I won't be sleeping with them, but I will talk with them from time to time because that's the rule when you become a couple. You only sleep with one woman, but you can talk to other women out there. I mean, you won't spend 2 and 3 hours with them, but you'll talk with them, say, hey, how you doing? But that's the way it has to be. Otherwise, it's like being in prison. It's like, okay, the wife's at work. You see a friend at lunch. You can't sit down because a girlfriend of hers is more likely to come by and say, hey, what you watch saw at lunch? He was having a good time, and you weren't there. I don't know how many times I got burned by stories like that. I mean, that's how possessive those women are.
Could women, no, we want to ask, can women do that, Rod? Could women do what you're talking about? Could we date a guy and and the guy be cool about the fact that you still got all your friends and you're doing whatever you're doing with other guys, but, you know, we're waiting to be exclusive to you.
That's why you do 30 days and you put your calendars together.
Wait,
you said, this is what I do normally, and she said, this is what I do normally. So nobody's toes is stepping on, like, it's 8 o'clock and she's looking at their watch and it's like, what's wrong? Oh, Real Housewives of Atlanta's coming on. I'm usually at home watching them, and my day's cutting into that. I mean, you gotta say something.
So you're saying can women have like their other male friends? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like you don't want to be the kind of guy. It's like when she's out there, she's thinking, "What's he doing? He hasn't called me back in a whole hour." And like, I mean, in 1 hour, I get like 3 or 4 calls from this person, texts, and I'm like, damn, didn't she just step out the door to go to work?
Yeah, I think if you're in a traditional, if you're in a traditional monogamous relationship, it's hard for you to have friends of the opposite sex, especially women, to have male friends because the male friends are going to try to have sex with them.
well, the rule is they keep their friends. They just don't sleep with them. That's it.
Yeah. So that does take us to that next chapter where you talk about not being a woman's friend.
Yes, that's a big thing.
Yep. Mhm. Because she can have too much fun with you and find you non-sexual.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
So you can't give me the kitty cat because we're good friends? Yeah. Let's watch TV.
Exactly. Because the thing is, I
thought we were going forward to playtime instead of enjoying all your favorite shows with your and everything. No,
right.
I don't want to do that.
You know what it is? Because I tell guys that when you're approaching women, you have to always approach them as if you're trying to get with them sexually and on some like girlfriend type stuff or just a sex buddy type stuff. Like don't ever approach women in a friendly manner where you're just trying to be buddy with them. Right, exactly. Because then you're gonna have like that friendly vibe to other women that you're talking to. So you're going to condition yourself to become too friendly with women, and then you're going to get yourself in the friend zone with most of the women that you're talking to. You know what I'm saying?
Otherwise, you'll find yourself in their bedroom at night with her and her girlfriend, 10 o'clock at night, and both of them are starting to take their clothes off, and you're looking at them like, oh, this is fun. And then one stops and says, Janice, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just changing into my gown. I told you I had that nice red one I want you. I just got it. Here, wait a minute. And she got everything off except the bra and the panties. She's like, stop! And then she points to the guy. And he's like, why are you stopping? And she's like, oh, that's, she'll even say, that's just Tom. It's
right, exactly.
You don't mind, do you, Tom? No. Go.
What sort of fantasy?
I'm getting tired now.
No, that can happen. You have in real life. You got too friendly with him. He don't matter no more. He's not a real guy.
Right.
Go ahead, take it off. Change.
All right, Rod. You hold. I'm trying to see if I can get Vicky in. I don't know. I'm trying to get her in. The moment I know my computer's playing up. Okay, so while we're waiting for her, Michelle, did you want to comment about that? About what he's saying?
About the friends? Don't become friends?
Yeah.
I have to say that I do have a slight agreement with just a little bit, because I have noticed that there is a window of opportunity, and if you become really good friends with someone, that thing passes, that attraction and where you do stop thinking about them as a potential partner or whatever, you move into a friendship zone, and it feels weird then to have to go back. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Right.
At the same time, I do need to get to know someone before I, go.
It's not wrong. Go ahead.
Can I make a comment? See, this is very serious what we're talking about. But see, if a person's a friend and you see him just a friend, don't play like you want more. If you know that person want more and and you know you don't want more, just tell them that or tell her that. But if you play like that, and because someone may have some miscommunication, and that's what people do. People just say, I just want to, I mean, you're just cool, and then sometimes the nice guy or that nice woman may come along and get hurt that way. And when we were talking about certain things, when you talking about how a man should be aggressive and shouldn't start a friend, I think it all depends on how we came about to know each other, how the event happened and everything, where I'm going to come aggressive, or we may start as friends and then we may like each other. But you have to let a person know where you're going to go for, because a lot of people can get used. People can get used like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. That's true.
Vicky's on. Vicky, do you want to say something?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey. Oh, this has been so funny tonight.
So Vicky, have you got over your
girl? You're a bitch. I'm sorry, you're a bitch. I don't give a shit, man. You're a bitch. You got me cursing and all sorts of stuff. Damn. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not even over it. I'm not even over it yet.
Vicky, you're a good friend.
Yeah, because I'm like, do you know what? It wasn't. Do you know what the thing is? The thing was, it wasn't about her getting married or engaged. It was about the dude that I know that she's been talking about. I'm like, what about him? That was my problem. I was like, you piece of shit, you hoe.
And she said, move it on.
Yeah.
He'll get over it.
And she said, I told him he'll get over it. And I just went ballistic. But it's a good conversation tonight. It's been really interesting. My phone has been going in and out. My computer's been going in and out. But even in the context of what you're talking about now, you know what? Yeah, good guys do finish a bit last. I believe it. But I love them. I completely love a nerdy good guy. But you know what? They've got no game. They see you. They're caught in the headlights. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. And even if you talk to them, they've just got nothing. And unfortunately, that's why women go for the guys that they go for. And although they break their hearts all the time. Because if the other guys... But the thing is, the guys that are like Steve and all those guys that are teaching the guys the things that they're doing, it's all just about getting laid. If I had any more... Well, no, I've not had it for a long time. If I had... The last time I had sex, it made me celibate. It was that bad. Trust me. I would never have sex.
Oh, my God.
It was that bad.
Real nice guy, huh?
You need to work out. Go to the gym.
Please. Go.
You're right, man.
The funny thing is, the dude phoned me today. He phoned me today, and he says to me, "Oh, when are we gonna go out to play golf?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool. We can go and play golf. I can go and play golf with him." But he
doesn't know how to swing his stick. She's not going.
No. No. I will go to golf with him because I like to play golf, and he wants to learn to play golf. So it's a kind of like a business transaction, right? I've got nobody who wants to play golf, and he wants to play golf. I want to continue with my game. It works, but trust me, he comes to the door to ring the bell. I come straight out with my golf kit. And there's nothing because I told him about himself. With me and Ebony's got a name for him. We call him Vibrator-Gate. That's what we call him, Vibrator-Gate. That's it, right? And I have never had sex since that man. And if I never had it again, I do not care. Because I just...
I know you have to, Vicky. You can't make that be your last one.
No. I can remember the ones that were before. The thing is, though, right, when I listen to Steve and those guys that are trying to give men that may have not grown up with fathers and male influences, give them the game, the confidence to approach women, I really feel there is a place for them. But the only way that they're attacking women is on a sexual level. And the women that haven't had fathers are then going to be amenable to the men that are coming into them at sexual level. So those two are going to get into the mix. If you've had dads, if you've got some self-esteem, if you've got some self-confidence, that isn't really going to work for you. So if a guy comes up to me in his big ass of BS, I look at him, I just think, that's another piece of shit. And I just go, okay, hi, no, how you doing? He doesn't get my number, he doesn't get nothing because I know the game.
Well, naturally, men are dominant in the bedroom. I mean, just by the animal action, naturally, we're dominant in the bedroom.
They're not dominant.
Man, I mean, your man needs to go to the gym and work out. He needs to work out. Go to the gym. We have no problem, man. A lot of these women are working out. We must be ready for them. Guys, you have to go to the gym.
You're not listening. There are so many women talking about how shit the sexual experience is. They don't say it to you because we don't want to hurt your ego, but we say it to each other. Right?
Well, you know what it is? But also real quick, though, is that a lot of times when you have bad sex, it's not the other person's fault. It's really your fault because you're the one. This is what I'm saying, and this is what most people don't realize. Because like let's say if I was to have sex with you and then you didn't have an orgasm, you go to your girlfriends and be like, oh, he didn't give me an orgasm. I'm not giving you an orgasm. I assist you in yourself giving you the orgasm. So a lot of times it's where your mind is when you're actually having the sex act. So maybe sometimes when you're with a certain individual guy or whatever, you're not feeling him that much or you're not feeling the situation that much or whatever it is. Exactly. But it's not, the blame is not always on the other person. You see what I'm saying?
Because the atmosphere and everything is involved. The atmosphere, who you're dealing with, and everything is involved. Right, the atmosphere, who that person is, all of that. I mean, that's what a woman told me before. I had she was speaking about on another show, and she says the man can have the biggest kahuna, but if he's not the right man and that atmosphere is not right, he's not going to get me running.
Exactly.
And also,
that have a smaller kahuna may have a right atmosphere. She may feel something about him, and he get her dripping down like I don't know what.
And also, it doesn't mean if a woman has an orgasm that the sex is good either.
Right, that's true.
Because women can bring themselves to orgasm doesn't mean the sex was great or the guy was great.
Right,
so,
that's true. But I'm just saying, as far as looking outside yourself as well, this person doesn't know how to do me right. A lot of times it's also just even in that situation, it's like, what are you doing with the person that you're not compatible with sexually? You know what I'm saying? It's like all those things come into play. You see what I mean? So it's not just about the other person. It's also you. It takes two to tango.
Yeah, Mr. Locario, that's why I say to my girls, don't give it up until you know that there's some form of mental connection, because for women, we need that connection. We need to know that we find you attractive, that we're connected to you in some way. Sometimes before anything can happen on that level, because, it's a mind thing as well as a physical thing. I think when men are trying to connect just on the physical, they're thinking more about how they operate from where they are. But you've got to think also about how a woman operates from where she is. And with a woman, it is about the mind. And it's how you get into her head. If you're so busy getting into 5, 6 heads at the same time, you ain't focusing on my shit. You may
right, but it's still mental with the man too.
In the way, hold on, I'm just saying it is, but I'm saying we are very much about how we're feeling about you. And sometimes the disconnect is because you're not focused, you're not in the moment. Because maybe you're thinking, well, she don't say yes, I'm moving on. And all the rest of it. Maybe you're thinking about other things. Maybe as a woman you're thinking about other things. But I think when you're focused on each other, you're really, really focused on each other. Whatever you want to achieve together becomes more achievable. If it's not working, that's a different thing, okay? Or if it's too small, that's a different thing. And all the other things.
Girl, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started.
Yeah, start man.
I have said once.
I missed that. What do you mean?
He's saying size does matter.
Don't get me started. These brothers think they're passing something. Hell no.
Can't do it.
Do that again.
No future. There's no future.
I can hear Rob in the background going, "Oh, say that again." Rob loves my voice.
Yes, we do. Please do that again.
Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah. Okay, Rob.
Okay, two more.
Okay. We've got
pay me on my
10.
PayPal account. I'll send you some sexy messages. Okay. Let's
Lord, help me.
Okay, Ebony, a couple more of those.
Rob, get in there. Yeah, we've got chapter 10. You don't need a woman to enjoy your life. I want to get through. I think chapter 10 is that the last chapter. Yeah.
That's the last one.
Book is, you don't need a woman to enjoy your life. So, I'll just say this: you say women are great. I love women. I know that you love women too. That's probably why you're reading this book. But what you have to realize is that getting with a woman isn't everything. It doesn't define who you are. Some men think that in order to have a happy and fulfilling life, they need to be involved with a woman. I've met so many men who define their self-worth on the woman they were dating. Their happiness seemed to rely on the relationships that they were in. When they weren't seeing any women, they would feel worthless and depressed. They weren't able to feel self-sufficient since their enjoyment of life depended on their interactions with women. So sometimes things don't work out exactly how you might have wanted them to be with some of the people you date. Women will come and go. If you base your enjoyment of life on the company of these women, then you're at their mercy.
Right. Yeah, that's, and I put that as the last chapter because, a lot of times guys feel like they really, they really need to have a girl in their arm because they want other people to look at them, and then that inflates their ego, and they're just basing their whole, existence or happiness on women, which is outside of themselves. And, I say that, to enjoy your life, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to enjoy who you are and spend, sometimes spend time with yourself to even figure out what you want before you even try to go to talk with women. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want guys to think that, or even women, also to think that, you need these other people to be happy because, sometimes as you get older, we always look at it as, well, I need this boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or whatever to complete me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool if you have that, and it's a good thing, and it's great, but it's not necessary for you to live an enjoyable life with having that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people strive for that and they strive for that as that is happiness. They're trying to get happiness through people. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going to work. So it's like, that's just, just to remind people that you don't really need that to feel fulfilled and good about your life. You know what I'm saying?
But then
it's like
people
a bonus.
do bring an added, people do bring that added value.
Right.
You can operate on your own, but no man's an island. We know that, okay?
Right, exactly.
So,
but the people are like the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's right. So that relationship should be the thing that motivates you, that makes you want to wake up and do stuff,
right,
that may support you in some of your goals and your dreams. But it isn't the be all. It shouldn't be the be all and end all. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's Rob making.
I know, but my question: don't we all yearn for an orgasm? I mean, most of us.
Oh Lord.
Oh God, Mike.
Oh God, here we go, Mike. 90 seconds. 90 seconds.
Yeah, 90 seconds.
Every time I say that, I mean, guys, come on. I mean, y'all can't beat me up for too much for that. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. You're gagging.
I like to have other
what?
people involved when I do it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you like to involve people. Okay, we'll put that out to the listeners.
I'm just saying, it's a sex 90 seconds though, Mike.
Oh Lord.
Say that again. What you said?
I said it's a sex 90 seconds though, Mike.
That's not nice. That is not nice. Mike, don't even answer her. Don't even go there.
I'm being bitchy because this one's starting on me today and I'm in a bad mood right now.
I just want to say to my lovely listeners and to everybody online, we've done the book, and I really want to thank Mr. Locario. Thank you so much. I know.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and I'd love to have you again. But yeah, I think
definitely.
I've had two of you tonight.
And guys, make sure you go to my website. It's awesome, MrLocario.com. That's LOCARIO.com, or you can check out my other site. It's ILookSexyNaked.com. There's no nakedness on there. No.
Lord.
It means you look good being yourself, and it's a metaphor. It means you look good being yourself. You're naked. You have nothing to hide. You look good being yourself.
Is this no weaves, no eyelashes, or is this just like, you know?
No, it's dating advice and all that other stuff on there. But you can check those two out.
Yeah, I'm sure people will be straight on there now checking it out. But yeah, just to say that I haven't seen the website.
Go Rod.
You need to just do what you need to do for you. Just want to thank everybody who logged on tonight. Thank you to Michelle, to Vicky, to Joe who was on earlier, to Mike, Mr. Locario, of course, and Rod's listening page who was on, Granny Ganja in the chat room, Beat H2O, ABC who was on at the very beginning of the show, and everybody else who logged on, all my guests who were in the chat room, Mr. Talk as well. Thank you guys for sharing your time with me tonight. And I'm going to be back on Thursday. We are doing Global Village Day. And Michelle, I don't know if you're going to make Thursday. Are you off on leave this week? Or?
Yeah, I will. I will definitely be back for Thursday.
Oh, it's lovely to hear
all right,
you, Michelle. Missed your voice.
Oh, it's so lovely to have her. Yeah.
My girl. And
we'll
those pictures of Darwin, seriously, I need to get to Darwin because there looks like there's a lot of sun over there and I so need some sunshine.
Oh, it's really, really hot.
It's
lovely. Really hot. Yeah, but it's a beautiful place. Yeah, really nice.
Really, very nice.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I'm wishing everyone online lots of love and good luck with your dating. You know, we've got some tips tonight. But
yeah,
you can take
get yourself another polygamous husband. And off you go. That's basically what it sounds like.
Oh, God, I think somebody's got their hand up. Hold on. I don't know if 404, did you want to say something?
Yes, I did.
Hello?
I wanted to say congratulations on your marriage, and I hope everything works out for you. I hope everything works out really well. I really do. And you know, you're a great person, and that guy, he should feel really good. That guy should feel really good about it. So congratulations, Ebony. Congratulations to you, okay?
Oh, my gracious.
That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to play you out with That's the Way Love Goes.